Anytime a rich person tells you that money doesn't make you happy, just ask them for their money then. Like, cool. I guess it's useless, right? Can I just give me a bunch of it then? Right?
Fellas, welcome to the Friday episode. The Boys React. We're going to go through some news stories. Let's start with the thing that everyone is talking about, that everyone is always talking about, which is Elon. Elon has gotten himself in trouble a couple times this week. First, he tried selling some houseplants, or office plants, I should say, to his employees to raise money.
Wait, really?
And then also ridiculed and sort of kind of fired an employee who is disabled. Your thoughts on the endless drama of Elon?
Cringe. What do you think?
Yeah, Elon is the cringe master. He has to make everything about him. Like, it's just me. He's now known as Elon Musk in my house. This guy's too much. The crazy thing, Sam, did you watch this all go down with the guy that was like, "Hey, am I fired?" I think we should explain this.
Yeah, so do a recap. I didn't understand all that at first. I had to click through.
So guy goes on Twitter. Who's got, I never heard of this guy, but he's got like 150,000 followers. And he says, "Hey, 9 days ago, I lost access to my work computer. I can't access Twitter anymore. I work at Twitter. I can't access my work computer doesn't log in anymore. It doesn't work. Can't get into my email. Can't do anything. I'm not sure if I'm fired. Nobody told me I'm fired, but I just can't get into my email or my computer. I've emailed them. I've waited 9 days. I've gotten no reply from HR, from anybody. So I guess, hey, at Elon Musk, am I fired?" And so he tweets that out.
Was he getting paid still?
I don't know. I don't think so, but it was whatever. It was only 9 days, so maybe he hadn't got in between yet. So he tweets that out, and he goes, "Maybe if this gets enough retweets, then then I'll get a response." So it gets retweeted a bunch of because people, there's a whole group of people that love to hate Elon, myself included. And so people are like, this is another example of, how poorly Twitter's being run right now. Like, why would you, if you're going to fire somebody, tell them they're fired. That's, common decency, right? Like, I feel like Elon's got this flow chart where it's like, I'm firing this person. Should I tell them? It's like, yes. And it's like, no, I'm going to go with no. Okay, what happens after no? Like, should I meet with them in person? No, just cut off their computer
it's like,
access.
He's like Irish goodbying their jobs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's basically it's just walking out without saying goodbye.
Exactly. And so, anyways, this thing goes viral. So basically, Elon then, again, he sees this thing going viral. So instead of actually just yeah, you are fired, or confirmed, yes, you were fired, he instead says, what have you been working on? Or what have you accomplished? So then he goes, well, if I say what I'm working on, I think I'd be breaking my NDA. Do I have permission to break my NDA and tell you what, can I say publicly here what I work on? And Elon replies, yes, go ahead. And so,
dude, what a pathetic start to the story. That's already pathetic.
He goes, all right, well, the guy goes, well, I was, leveling up the design of this. I was working on this, and I was helping save money on this contract or whatever. And he goes, Elon replies, level up the design from what to what? Pictures or it didn't happen. And dipshit, you cut off his computer access. How is he supposed to have screenshots of his work if you took away his computer? He's not even able to do it. And then he's mocking him basically. He's just replying with the crying, laughing emoji. He's replying, trolling him with a clip from Office Space. And now here's where Elon went wrong. So Elon's not dumb, but he's a dumbass. And there's a big difference between dumb and a dumbass. Dumb is you're just not smart. Dumbass is you're smart, but you do dumb things. And that's what Elon does here. So he basically picks on a guy that it comes out. So this guy sold his company to Twitter. And the guy, and so Elon comes out and here's what he says about the guy. He goes, somebody was like, dude, this is this guy, Alex Cohen, had this great tweet. He goes, I'm not going to lie. This is the most entertaining exit interview ever. Just watching this whole thing go down in public. And then Elon says, the reality is this is a guy who was independently wealthy, did no actual work, and claimed as an excuse that he has a disability preventing him from typing. Yet here he is tweeting up a storm.
Wait, and so the disability thing, Elon said that first?
He goes, he claimed as his excuse that he has a disability preventing him from typing, yet was simultaneously tweeting up a storm. I can't say I have a lot of respect for that.
What a douche. How could he reveal that?
Here's the other side of the story. This guy's in a wheelchair. He's had muscular dystrophy for 25 years. And so he goes, so this guy came back with just kind of some fire. So he goes,
thunderclap, I think you called it.
Yeah, he did a solo thunderclap, basically. So he comes back, he goes, glad to see you're taking such an interest in my health. I assume what you're talking about when you are sharing my private health information online is the fact that I've had muscular dystrophy for 25 years. And I guess I'll go ahead and tell the story now. So, I lost the ability to use my legs 20 years ago. I've been in a wheelchair. Unfortunately, it's been spreading, and my arms have been getting weaker over time. In fact, that's why I sold my company. Remember, you said I was independently wealthy? I guess what you mean by that is I built a successful company and sold it, unlike somebody else who might have inherited a emerald mine, which is how Elon's dad owned an emerald mine,
which is bullshit. That's a bullshit thing. I hate when people say that, but whatever.
Good still.
We'll use it.
In this case, it's good. And so he goes, I guess that's what you mean by independently wealthy. And, so here's the story. This guy's got muscular dystrophy. He's losing feeling or strength in his arms. It's becoming very painful to type. He decides, okay, I'm going to sell my company. And instead of taking a lump sum payment, he chose to get paid out through like a salary instead of an upfront money, which is like, dude, who would do that? Why? Because he wanted to pay more taxes in Iceland, where he's from. Or I think it's Iceland. Maybe, I think it's Iceland.
Wait, really?
He wanted to pay more taxes. Why did he want to pay more taxes? Because he felt like as a disabled person, he had benefited a lot from like the social welfare system there, and was like, I want to contribute as much as I can to that. Which honestly sounds like too good to be true. Like, that's so different than me. I almost can't fathom that. I'm almost like, why don't you just take the money and donate it instead of paying in taxes? I don't really understand that. But either way, this guy, so built a company, had 100 employees working for him. It was profitable. Decides to sell it. His body's basically been giving out on them. He's like, financially, it wasn't the best decision. My company was making a lot of money. Twitter's offer was lower than other companies, but I made a bet on Twitter. It was growing at the time. And he goes, by the way, he goes, anyways, I digress. Are you still reading, or is your bathroom break over? Okay, what was I saying? And he goes, yes. So you bought the company, told employees you weren't firing 75% of them, and then you did. I was not in the first batch or the second batch or the third batch of layoffs. I don't know which batch we're on now, but whatever. I think I'm fired now. I'm not sure. I just want to make sure I get paid out, because in his contract, he had it where, okay, I'll take the money as a yearly salary rather than an upfront payment. But if you ever fire me, then you have to pay out the rest, right? So I'm guaranteed this money. I'll take it, slower rather than faster, but that's fine. And so, anyways, this guy not only
and he says how he's typing.
What's that?
He also mentioned how he was typing.
Yeah, and I think he was just like, I can't do like sustained thing, but like I can type with like one finger on my phone and blah blah blah. And so, anyways, he explains this. He goes, like, this guy was literally named Person of the Year in Iceland. This guy, like, his side hustle is he's building wheelchair ramps throughout Iceland so that other disabled people can do. Like, he's building hundreds of these wheelchair ramps. Like, that's who you're picking on here. That's who you chose to fight with. I saw this great quote. He goes, Elon, man, this guy's a dumbass. He fucked with the wheelchair Mr. Rogers. And he goes, what is this guy thinking? And so this guy, I read this thread and I was literally like, 911, I'd like to report a murder, right? Like, it was just like the ultimate clapback. And then Elon tries to backtrack, and he basically goes, some random dude tweets in the thread, goes, I know Hallie, and this is, you're saying that he's a liar and was just trying to do no work and get paid out. And that's not who this guy is. Random guy tweets. And then Elon tweets back, this is the most bullshit of all the bullshit. He goes, based on that comment, I decided to call Hallie rather than just tweet each other. And he goes, I decided to call Hallie. And he goes, what did he say? He goes, and have a video chat with him. Turns out, there was a misunderstanding. The information I was given was either incorrect or correct, but not important.
That's that white flag, bro. You lost.
And,
you surrendered.
We've discussed him, staying with the company. And, this is the ultimate backtrack. It's like, first of all, you want him to stay with the company because you have to pay him out if you fire him. So that's like, the first thing. Second thing, you basically fucked up and stepped in it. And this guy could sue you for like, a whole bunch of money for like basically, discriminating against a disabled person, as well as disclosing his private health information, as well as probably 3 or 4 other, issues that were labor laws that were broken in this process. But it's like, dude, you decided to have a video chat, not when the guy said he's, your employee said he hasn't heard from you, not when he, asked for an explanation. But when a random guy on Twitter said, no, Hallie's a good guy, you decided there to stop in your tracks and do a video call with him? Bullshit. Like this whole thing is bullshit. And Elon continues to be, the king of bullshit.
Have you heard the song "Damn It Feels Good to Be a Gangster"?
Sure.
Have you heard that song? There's a line. There's a line in it. Where I can't say the real line, but it basically says, "Real gangsters don't flex nuts because real gangsters know they got them." Yeah. And right now, Elon's he is pretty gangster. I mean, he's the man. He ain't acting like it. He's flexing nuts hard, and he shouldn't be flexing as hard as he is. And I get the personality type where some people are like, dude, he's just saying whatever he wants. The same thing with Trump, where he's like, he's just saying what he
says it like it is.
Says it like it is. And I actually dislike that. I like that like to an extent, but I'm like, but just because you say it like it is, like, well, he's just doing what he wants. Yeah, but you just punch someone. Like hitting people isn't good. Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, I want to do what I want. Does that mean I'm going to like go take a dump in the corner of the room? Like, there's like, let's be polite to one another also, if possible.
Right.
We're not going to be needlessly rude to one another. And that's kind of how I feel he acts right now. And that's not cool.
There's two other parts of this news story. One, it's going around that this guy's payout was $100 million, which makes no sense. Anybody who's in business is like, well, that number makes no sense. There's no way he's getting paid $9 million a year of salary. There's no way that they bought his agency for $100 million. It's not how much you would acqui-hire an agency for. It's probably more like 10. But I found it just started with some random guy who goes, oh man, Elon backtracking now because he realized that Hallie has $100 million payout. And like 5 tweets in, somebody's like, where'd you read the $100 million? I never saw that. He goes, oh, I'm just estimating, like, acqui-hires are $1 million ahead. They had 100 employees, so, $100 million. And now that's just like in a bunch of places. It's like, that's how bad like information spreads.
That's how fake news starts.
The second thing is Elon owned himself when he goes, the end of his thing, he goes, better to communicate through talking instead of communicating on Twitter. It's like just literally shitting on his own platform, by the way. Like, so self-owning, all around. So that I thought that was interesting. And then Ben said this other thing about the the office plant thing. What do you make of this? This makes no sense.
What happened? I muted Elon. So, I love what Elon's doing, man. But I even think the Twitter thing's interesting, but fuck, it's hard to be on his team, and so I had to mute him.
He's been selling like office furniture and memorabilia from the office, like just liquidating to like get more cash.
I tried buying. They had a Twitter logo. I tried buying it, but it got up too high.
And apparently, like there was like plants in the office that he tried selling to an engineer, like one of the employees or something like that. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Like, either this guy's a marketing genius, he's just trying to get PR, like trying to like. It's the thing where Amazon was like, we use doors as desks to save money,
which is a bullshit.
So it's either
story.
One of those just like stories that sounds like, man, he's really turning over every rock to save money from this bleeding company.
By the way, I tried doing that. An IKEA desk is significant cheaper than a door from Home Depot.
Yeah, exactly.
I've tried doing this. A desk is way cheaper.
And doors have like ridges
like $50.
And stuff. You can't even like write on them. So I don't know what to make of this story, but it just sounds like, it just makes no sense. Either he's lost his mind, or this is a masterful PR thing that's like 9,000 IQ and I can't understand it, or someone's just making things up. I don't understand.
Maybe all. I think all of those things could be true.
An exaggeration about a weird thing he said because he's lost his mind and makes for good PR. Gotcha.
He's a genius.
That makes sense.
It could be all those things. He could be. He's not dumb, but he's a dumbass. That's a great line. I saw people calling him Elmo Musk, and I thought that was pretty funny. But no, he's fucking up. Do we want to do one more?
Yeah, Ben. What else you got?
All right, let's go with money and happiness, guys. So There was a 2010 paper that said that basically above $70,000, more money does not make you more happy. Turns out, more money, less problems, because a new study says that is completely untrue. It starts to flatten a little bit as it goes up. But what do you guys think of this?
So here I'm pulling this up. So here's what it says, Sean. It says that so if you are in the happiest of the unhappiest 20% does plateau after reaching $100,000. But after that, if you're not in that group, more money does mean more happiness. And it basically, it goes all the way up. They studied it all the way up to $500,000. And they said, after that, we really didn't study it much. But up to $500,000, people do get happier. But that said, the researchers found that the overall emotional effect of more money on a person is small compared to other circumstances. It's even compared to a weekend. Approximately a fourfold difference in income, so 4 times your income, is equal to the effect of a weekend, which is kind of funny.
Wow.
But that said, more money makes you happy. So, and this is all like, there's this like 2010 study where it said $70,000. From the beginning, I thought that was the most bullshit study. And I've said on this pod so many times, that's nonsense. That is absolutely not true. $70,000. My sister, when she was like younger, lived in New York for $70,000. You're basically below the poverty line. Right. That is not happy. So 70,000, not a chance. I used to say I thought it was at like 250. I actually believe it could be 500 or even more, where you get happier.
This is one of those things like, that might be true. When I heard this study, I was like, that might be true. I'm gonna go ahead and test for myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if the earth is flat or round. I don't really have the ability to go out there and check it out. I don't know, if sulfur gas is poisonous, but I figure, no need to test that. This is one of those scientific claims that I had just decided a long time ago. I'm gonna go ahead and check. I'm gonna go ahead and do my own research on this one, and go ahead and try to go get a bunch of money and see how it feels. And you know what? I'm glad I did, because the study was bullshit.
Dude, I got an MRI yesterday, and the lady at the front desk was like, all right, that's $750. And she was like, didn't say that. She just handed me that. She goes, there's a bill today. And she showed it to me. She thought that I was going to like freak out. And I was like, all right, you take Apple Pay? And I just scanned my card or whatever. And I remember thinking,
you're like, where do I tip?
Yeah. I remember thinking, I am so happy I'm in a spot. I used to not be able to afford that at all. And I'm so happy I'm in a spot. I call that, you know what I call that? I call that braces money. I'm just going to be able to swipe my card and give my kid braces and not think twice about it. When I was younger, my parents bought me braces, and they told me that it was $2,000 that they had to pay on a credit card. And at the time they had like $6,000. And I remember thinking like, God damn, that sucks.
Right.
Like that's not, I would be a lot happier if I had $9 million in the bank as opposed to $9,000 or whatever you guys had.
Anytime a rich person tells you that money doesn't make you happy, just ask them for their money then. Like, cool. I guess it's useless, right? Can I just give me a bunch of it then? Right? Like,
yeah, dude. And
let's look at the actions versus the words in a lot of these cases. Right?
I always thought this study was bullshit also because I wonder how much money the people making this study make. I was always like, yeah, that's what they think. Sure, they think that, because I want to know how much bias goes into a study when
it's always the researcher's salary.
Yeah.
They're at the pinnacle of happiness.
Yeah. Or they're like making only 50 and they're like, hey, see, boss, 70,000. But I've always wondered what like the biases are, because like, I don't know.
I haven't even wondered. I'm like, this is obvious. This is obviously not true. And, if I get to the finish line and I realize, hey, 5 million and 10 million felt the same, well, shame on me for going the extra mile.
Another thing? Have you ever tried to read a study?
Yeah, dude. Studies are crazy. Yeah.
It's hard. I have no idea. And then I follow all these like smart, like a Huberman or like these other guys who like break down studies. And I'm like, and they'll say like, well, this study is actually bullshit for this reason. And I'm like, I guess I'll believe you, but I can't read this. And they'll like say like studies that I'm like, well, it said the word study in it. It must be true. And they're like, no, it's actually way off for this reason. And like their sample size was like 8 people.
Or it wasn't
college
replicated,
students.
or a bunch of different things like that.
Dude, I don't know how to read any of that.
Or there's
stuff.
a chart and it's like the error bars are huge. It's like, yeah, it's that plus or minus, it's 70,000 plus or minus 500,000. It's like, whoa, okay, hold on. What's going on here? Right. So yeah, I think science is used as a shield for like you can't argue
Sometimes.
with this, in many cases. And there's good science and there's bad science and there's weak science and there's strong science and there's, and then there's physics where it's like, empirically true. And so,
But the only thing that I know is three things. There's good science, there's bad science, and I don't know the difference between the two. That's like the only. That's like the only
t-shirt right there. Nice.
That's like the only truth that I
Where'd you
know,
get that
which is
from?
like it exists. I'm just
That was a little too
big brain,
smooth.
big old brain.
You got that big brain on today. All right, what else we got?
Got that big brain.
All right, here we go. Let's go with TikTok. Biden administration, in conjunction with Congress, they're evaluating a new law that would make it possible for companies to be banned that pose a national security risk. People think this means that they're going to ban TikTok. What do you guys think? Should they ban TikTok?
I don't know anything about that.
Wow. Is this why they pay you the big bucks?
Dude, like people talk about I don't know anything about China. I don't know what they're doing.
That's true.
Do you?
No, honestly, I do not. How would I really know? The Biden. So I think that being able to ban something if it's a national security risk, yeah, I think that's fine. I think that sounds like appropriate. I also, by using TikTok a ton, I could totally see how I wouldn't want this in the hands of my enemy. It's like, oh, the ability to like take in all of my data, my camera roll, turn my microphone, my camera on, as well as spoon feed me any like feed of information based on, a mysterious algorithm that can surface good stuff, bad stuff, weird stuff, misinformation, whatever. Like that's a pretty powerful weapon, right? So I definitely see the merit in that. Now, is TikTok actually a threat? I don't know.
All right, what's the next one?
Our software is the worst.
Have you heard of HubSpot?
See, most CRMs are a cobbled together mess, but HubSpot is easy to adopt and actually looks gorgeous.
I think I love our new CRM. Our software is the best.
HubSpot. Grow better.
All right, next one. Let's go with favorite cities. A new poll from a real estate advice website reveals where Americans would move if money was no object. New York, Austin's in there. That makes sense. Also on the list, though, Las Vegas, and at number 9, Baltimore.
Dude, I'm from St. Louis. I'm from the city of St. Louis. A lot of people don't know this, but if you look at what the highest murder rate per 100,000 people, and it's been St. Louis, like it's usually number 1, sometimes number 2. For the past 10 years, there's like 500 murders a year. St. Louis and Baltimore, very similar. That sucks. It sucks. I don't want to move there. Not at all. I don't understand that. That's weird to me.
Once I worked in the media business, I realized that polls, rankings, lists, all bullshit, just things to generate clicks, links, controversy. If I was going to make a list and I made a list that was like, you just nod and you say, yeah, that makes sense. You're not going to share that. You're not going to talk about that. I throw Baltimore as this 4th most desired city to live in or whatever, like put New York 9th just to make them outraged. Guess what? I'm going to get a lot more clicks, a lot more discussion, a lot more controversy, and a lot more backlinks for my SEO. And, so once you know their incentives, you'll know why these lists are often outrageous. Either they're just paid to put like, things on the top, or they're trying to do things that will generate a bunch of shares.
Do you know what state Baltimore's in?
Yeah, Baltimore is in Maryland.
All right, nice. I didn't think you'd get that. If you Google
I had to say it
Baltimore,
slow to let my brain think. I was like, of course I know that. Baltimore.
Dude, if you Google Baltimore and look at the images, very unimpressive. Not impressive at all. I'm sorry, Baltimore, that skyline, not interesting one bit. They need the Tourist Association needs to work on their SEO. Not so good.
What else you got, Ben?
Can we wrap this up with the slap fighting one?
Yeah. Do the story, Sam.
So Dana White is putting muscle behind UFC. Dana White and the UFC is putting muscle behind Power Slap League. So if you guys have not seen this, it's basically 2 guys. They're typically like huge fat guys standing at a table, smacking each other. I think they get 3 times a smack they get 3 times to smack each other. I don't know the rules, but it seems like someone gets knocked out every slap.
Every fight, yeah.
Right? What are the rules? Is it like the first one knocked out loses, or
it's typically 3 to 5 rounds? They take turns hitting each other in the face with an open hand, and the other person has to just stand there and take it. They get 60 seconds to recover, and then they can earn up to 10 points based on the effectiveness of the slap and the defender's reaction. Oh, that's good. So I like things where you get rewarded for pretending like it didn't hurt, because that's a skill that I honed as a little sibling for many years.
Dude. This is the stupidest thing on earth. I don't know. So look, I'm not a woke guy. I consider myself right of center. Maybe I'm getting more woke as I get older. I'm hating on Elon, and also this slap thing is the stupidest thing on earth, and I'm not going to give it any of my I'm not going to give it any of my eyeballs. I'd prefer to see two people in their underwear fighting to the death in front of a million people, like UFC. But the slap thing, not a fan.
Yeah, like, to me, knockouts are like dip. It's like, I like chips and dip, but if you take the chips away and it's just dip, now I feel a little dirty. That's how I feel about this. Like, I'm cool watching a fight where somebody gets knocked out because there's skill and there's defense and then there's strategy. When it's literally you have to stand still and get hit as hard as you can by somebody else. I'm just eating barbecue sauce, and I don't really.
Which is kind of ridiculous that it's considered okay that we can use a chip as a spoon and with cheese, but when you just use a spoon as a spoon for that cheese, we consider two different things. That is a little weird, isn't it?
The big questions in life that I might spend a whole lifetime trying to wonder why we are the way we are in this way. Now, let me tell you something.
That's a great example.
Michael Vick got booted out of the NFL and went to jail for a dogfighting ring. Colin Kaepernick can't get a job because he took a knee during the national anthem to protest. Those
two are not even remotely the same thing, by the way.
I'm just saying. People have got a lot more punished for a lot less than this. How is Dana White how is he not canceled for doing this? How is this legitimate thing that they're allowed to do? Kind of insane to me that you could get away with doing this and not others. I guess it's because they're consenting adults, and that's the line. I guess anything above that line works. I don't know. That sounds a little iffy to me, but
yeah, I think this is so stupid. I'm not going to give it. I try not to give it my attention. I can't stand it. I think it's really dumb. And they're all like,
I'm not gonna lie, I watched the trailer. I was heavily entertained by it. So just from the trailer,
it's kind of like there was this subreddit called "Watch People Die," and it was like videos of people killing themselves, and it was huge, and people were obsessed with it. And then they deleted it, and I remember thinking that's a good idea to delete that, and yet it was really hard not to go to that subreddit. It's like. It was impossible. Like when I would see it come up, I'm like, oh my God, this is horrible. I cannot watch this. And I would have to
look away.
I had to stop myself from clicking some of that stuff.
Let's finish with a little show recommendation. Have you watched Physical 100 on Netflix?
You keep telling me to watch it. No.
Oh my God. Everybody needs to go watch this show. And I'm going to warn you, it's a weird show. If you had just described it to me, I would not have watched it.
It's just that Korean Netflix thing in real life, right?
It's Squid Games in real life. Yeah, kind of. So basically, here's why it's amazing. So the premise of the show is they got 100 athletes of different types. So bodybuilders, MMA guys, boxers, women, men, small, large, gymnasts, ice climbers, luge people from the Olympics, whatever, everything, wrestlers. And they put them all together and they walk in and it's basically like, we're going to see who is the variety of athletic competitions. Who is the overall, what is the best body? What is the perfect body? Is it this guy or is it this girl or is it this guy? And so the very first competition they have is basically there's a ball in the middle of a mud pit. It's like whoever has this ball at the end of 3 minutes wins. And it'll be guy versus girl. It'll be giant bodybuilder versus tiny. There's no weight classes, no nothing. And they go there, but the best part is it doesn't have this American tackiness like slap fighting or ranch. Like Koreans don't eat that shit. They don't do that stuff. All these people, here's 3 reasons why it's amazing. Number one, they got legit the best athletes. So they literally got the guy from the World's Strongest Man. They're Olympians, gold medalists, their most famous MMA fighters. They got their most famous athletes to go do this reality show. It's like if LeBron was competing against Patrick Mahomes versus competing against Serena Williams. But they actually, and they not only did they show up, they actually gave a shit. They were like, I really want to win this. And so they weren't just there for reality drama. That's the first thing. Second thing, they play with honor. So it would be the winner of the first round gets to pick who their opponent's going to be in the second round. It's like, oh, well, an American would just be like, oh, I can beat this person. So I'm going to choose the weakest one and I'm going to do that. And then what they would do is they would go to whoever they felt was the strongest, that would be the most honorable to compete against. And they'd be like, it would be my honor to compete against you. And the whole thing's done with subtitles. Sorry, dubbed. So it's all in Korean, but then you're listening on a dubbed thing, which is hilarious because there's even some guys that speak English. They dub them also in more English. It's hilarious. So that's how the show works. And they just eliminate people until they get to the very end, the final winner of the Physical 100. And so this is you will love the show. Once you get in, you get 2 episodes deep, you're going to love the characters.
Which body type is best?
well, I don't want to give it away. I mean, this is the show, right? So like this is a giant spoiler. But you know, you got to have it all. You got to have attributes. You got to have the speed. You got to have the strength. You got to have the endurance. You got to have the dexterity. You got to have the agility. You got to have it all because they test you in all these different ways.
How would I do?
The show is amazing. You got to watch this thing. Physical 100.
How would I do?
Oh, here's the other thing that's great about it. They don't really edit it. So like in an American show, they'll be like the start of the competition. Then there's like montage. And then it's like the big fight. They'll spend 5 minutes on the big argument, the ending. Whereas with this, it's like these contestants have 1 hour to pull this like 10,000 ton ship as a team from one side of this room to the other. Go. And they just show the whole thing in its entirety. It's even a little bit boring sometimes, but it's kind of like watching National Geographic where you just get really into it, like Planet Earth, where you're like, ooh, is the lizard going to get the ant? I got to watch. Like, and it's going to just happen. I'm going to watch the whole thing play out, you know, with no jump cuts. And it's such a refreshing change from like TikTok and like these other things that are like just such surface level stuff.
I'm looking at the winner. We're not that different, are we?
Well, don't give it away. You'd be surprised why this person won. It's pretty crazy. So anyways, yeah, you got to watch the show. It's kind of amazing.
All right, that's it. That's the pod.